nuclear waste is currently being kept in temporary facilities scattered across 39 states, in cooling ponds and in storage buildings outside nuclear reactors. Some of this is adjacent to rivers or on top of water tables. Secretary of Energy Spencer Abrams says 161 million Americans live within 75 miles of one of these sites, end quote. Nuclear waste is detrimental to American society as a whole and has been building up in the US for 80 years. We cannot stand by and watch as the amount of nuclear waste builds up to unmanageable levels, which is why we stand resolved. The United States federal government should substantially reform its energy policy. First, I'd like to clarify our thesis and goal, which we believe ought to be national health and safety. National health and safety. Given the purpose of the government, what we should be striving for first and foremost in our nuclear energy policy is for the government to create responsible policies that protect Americans from the harmful effects of radiation. Thus, whichever side best protects our citizens' health deserves your ballot today. Now that we've established our goal, let's move on to our definition. Yucca Mountain. Yucca Mountain. Quote, Yucca Mountain is in the Nevada test site, in an arid, remote, and thinly populated region of southwestern Nevada. It is the potential site for a monitored geological repository for the nation's commercial and military spent nuclear fuel, high-level radioactive waste, and other nuclear weapons materials, end quote. Fact 1. Nuclear waste stored on site. Nuclear waste stored on site. According to an article published by Harvard University in 2018, quote, across the United States, nuclear waste is accumulating in poorly maintained piles, and 90,000 metric tons of nuclear waste requiring disposal are currently in temporary storage. The United States, however, has yet to construct a long-term storage solution for this waste, end quote. Forced to store their spent nuclear fuel on-site at each individual power plant, companies have had to get creative. The temporary solutions present in the current system were never designed to store the waste for more than a few years. Fact 2. Yucca Mountain long-term solution. Yucca Mountain long-term solution. U.S. Representative Greg Wallen said in 2017, quote, at Yucca Mountain, nuclear waste would be safely isolated 1,000 feet underground. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission determined that the site could safely store this nuclear material for 1 million years, end quote. Harm 1. Americans pay extra. Americans pay extra. Since the 1982 law made the government legally responsible for storing nuclear waste, our failure to construct an underground repository in time has made the U.S. government liable for hundreds of billions in damages. According to an article published by NBC on January 29, 2019, it says pertaining to nuclear waste, quote, the Energy Department's projected cost of cleanup jumped from $383 billion in 2017 to $493 billion in a financial report issued in December 2018. The new total may still underestimate the full cost of cleanup, which is expected to last another 50 years. The number is growing and the number is understated, said David Trimble, director of the Government Accountability Office's Natural Resources and Environment team, end quote. America's nuclear waste cleanup will cost American taxpayers almost $500 billion. The government's construction of a nuclear repository has been ignored for decades, to the detriment of taxpayers. To address this urgent need, we propose the following plan. Mandate 1. Build Yucca Mountain. Build Yucca Mountain. Licensing will be granted and the U.S. federal government will immediately begin construction on the Yucca Mountain site. The facility will start storing waste at a rate of 3,000 metric tons per year in 2025. Mandate 2. Expand project. Expand project. Congress will repeal the statute of the Nuclear Waste Policy Act that limits Yucca Mountain's capacity to 70,000 metric tons of waste. This will expand Yucca Mountain's capacity to 570,000 tons of waste, an EPRI report's estimate of the facility's technical capacity. The total estimated cost of constructing, running, and closing the facility is $325 billion, spread over the next 375 years. Because the expense is spread over such a long period of time, we must discount the rate using present value calculations. Thus, according to EPRI, the cost needed is actually $38 billion. The existing $44.5 billion nuclear waste fund will pay for the project. We as the affirmative team reserve the right to clarify our plan in future speeches. Additionally, if we can prove that our plan is better than the current system, an affirmative ballot is warranted. Finally, implementing a sustainable solution for nuclear waste will provide the following net benefit. Advantage: nuclear waste safely stored. Nuclear waste safely stored. Opening an underground repository designed to hold waste permanently will contain nuclear waste where it can safely degrade without threatening American communities. When it comes to nuclear waste, our government has prioritized politics over the safety of Americans and their money for far too long. It's time for the government to uphold their responsibilities and build a sustainable solution to nuclear waste. Thank you, and now it's open for cross-examination.